Hi, this is Tam. Hey guys, I got some of the dopest females I know in the business of book literature. So today's show is going to start out by us doing something even more special, like taking a break. So anyhow, I'm gonna click off because I don't even want you to know who I'm bringing to the table. That would be so odd for me to do that. So let's kick off with something special.
Exposure Network Television, one of the fastest growing media platforms, celebrating the beauty of diversity. Exposure provides inspiring, educational, motivational, and most importantly, family friendly content. Trusted by parents and loved by children. Wait, the network expands its local based media distribution, opening up Caribbean islands. Exposure Caribbean TV is proud to offer those living in the Caribbean islands a media platform geared towards changing the narrative of how the world sees the Caribbean islands, providing the Caribbean islands based business, news, travelers, nightlife, filmmakers, and the alike to over 160 million homes in 128 countries. Exposure is exposing the Caribbean islands to the world. Exposure Caribbean Television is now available on the network.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, we're back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So, today I decided to take some time to talk to two of the most incredible women in the book industry. So, as usual, I always bring something that's dope and also informative, educational, and inspiring. Don't you want to get inspired? Are you a book author? Stay right there. Don't move because two of the most amazing women decided to give me an exclusive today. That's Michelle Cameron and the incredible Tamika Howze is here today. Come on, y'all, give it up. Tamika Howze is in the building. All right, Michelle Cameron Howze from the East Coast, but this sister is so bad when I tell you she is a bestseller maker. Okay, so if you want somebody who can make you a bestseller, you're about to hear from the most incredible woman in the in the literature business. Oh my God, something's wrong like tongue again today. Okay, stay right there. I'll be right back after these messages. Listen to this commercial and let me check on my guests.
Exposure Network Television, one of the fastest growing media platforms, celebrating the beauty of diversity. Exposure provides inspiring, educational, motivational, and most importantly, family friendly content. Trusted by parents and loved by children. Wait, the network expands its local based media distribution, opening up Caribbean islands. Exposure Caribbean TV is proud to offer those living in the Caribbean islands a media platform geared towards changing the narrative of how the world sees the Caribbean islands, providing the Caribbean islands based business, news, travelers, nightlife, filmmakers, and the alike to over 160 million homes in 128 countries. Exposure is exposing the Caribbean islands to the world. Exposure Caribbean Television is now available on the network.
Awesomeness. Thank you so much for waiting. I see we got people that are coming in and tuning in. Come on in, come on in. I want you guys to get ready for something that's going to be so incredible. It's Sunday. Sunday. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're at in the country. But we thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tam Lawrence. And of course, I am the media mogul behind Exposure Network TV, Exposure Magazine, and Keynote Magazine, as well as Exposure Podcast Community. That means that I'm taking brands in front of 1 million+ viewers around the country. Did you know that we're in 160 million households in 128 countries? And right now, that's what we're doing. We're streaming live on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android television, as well as your mobile devices. How do I get it on those networks? You're saying, Tam? Well, go ahead and just download the application. Let's go right now to your cell phone. Type in, go to your app store. Go to your app store. I'm waiting. Okay, let's type in Exposure Network TV. All right, got it? Exposure Network TV. Tam, I'm at home. I'm on my Fire Stick. What do I do? Go ahead, type in Exposure Network TV because you want to hear from these women today, but then you want to hear from them in the future. Guess what? They got TV shows and they're looking for guests. And if you're a book author, you don't want to miss this opportunity. So, do what I say, and we'll be really great friends because I'm going to connect you with some of the most amazing women in the industry that are making bestsellers. I'm not talking about bestsellers on Amazon either. I'm talking about New York bestsellers. You know what I'm talking about? Like published bestsellers, not Vanity Press. You're going to learn the difference between Vanity Press today and what it is to be a published author. Okay? Stay with me. I'm good on this. Let's go. Let's get our guests to the floor. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hey, happy Sunday!
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you both on the show today. And I'm always interested to hear from experts, and you all are the experts in the book industry. And I'm sure our guests that are watching have a lot of questions. So we're going to answer questions. So listen, anybody that has a question, go ahead and throw it in the chat. We're going to say good morning to you. We're going to talk back and forth, and we're going to answer any of your questions that you might have about the book industry and where the book industry is going, post COVID, what happens next. So let's get to talking to our amazing guests. So listen, Michelle, tell us a little bit about your background.
Hi, everyone. So, I am an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a writing coach, and I'm an editor. And I started writing from I was about 15. That's when I started. And my first book, though, I didn't publish that until 2011. It's my life, and I live here, one woman story, my bio, basically. And I kind of fell into this. It wasn't something I planned, but as I was writing and everything, people would come and ask me, "How do I do this? How do I do that?" And that's where everything developed from there. So I wrote a book to help other authors. It turned into workshops. It turned into coaching opportunities, one on one.
Mhm.
And it just evolved into everything that I've been experiencing for the last few years. Quite a ride. I've enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to more. Looking forward to working with Tam and being on the Exposure Network TV. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesomeness. So you guys are together in Atlanta in the ATL. Woo!
Yes.
I'm pumping up, honey. I am so excited for you all. So, Takima,
Yes.
make sure you look directly at my camera when you on my show. Do not look to the left or to the right.
Okay, sorry.
Okay? So,
I was like, dang, my books are over there. I
no,
should probably
no,
look
no,
at
no,
them.
no, 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 no. You on my camera time, baby. And when you on my camera time and on my show, we don't be looking all around the room. Listen to me. My audience is here. Give them all the attention we can. Bring it to the front, baby. Takima, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is the Takima in the industry? How did you get started? We want to know.
Okay, well, first of all, I live in Atlanta, but I am from the Bronx, New York. Okay, I rep my city wherever I go. I actually started writing when I was 8 years old, after reading I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by the Maya Angelou, and the way that book made me feel, I wanted to be able to write and inspire people and make them feel how I felt. And so I started writing at the age of 8. I published my first book in 2015, 2 years after I had my daughter. And it really helped me to understand that I was not just here. My life was not over just because I had a child, but that's when my life truly began. And so I birthed a human baby, and then I was able to birth my book babies. After doing that, people would ask me, "How did you write a book? How did you tell your story?" And I realized that not only did I write a book, I gave birth to my story, and that my story had true power. And I wanted to take my story beyond my book. So I started to help people to write their books, but I was like, there's more to this than just writing a book. And so I started to help people to develop ways and how to utilize their story to make a greater impact. And with making a greater impact, they were able to make a greater income. And so I started a program. I developed a program called Beyond the Book, and I teach authors, but also people who have stories that want to impact people and develop them in ways that can bring income to them, but also help people journey in life. Because one thing I know for sure, life will throw you down a flight of steps and not care, but you are always able to get back up. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
You know what? One of the things that I think is so wonderful about the book industry is it allows you to explore and to tell your story. So many people get stuck when trying to tell their story. Like they get stuck. What is that? How do you get past that? What do you do to get past your fear of opening up and being vulnerable and literally standing naked in front of people and writing your memoir? Or maybe you're going to take the story and turn it into a fantasy.
Mhm.
What's one of the ways that you just really say, you know what, Michelle, how do you get past that?
So, one thing that I tell the people that I coach is you have to get outside of yourself when you're writing,
Absolutely.
meaning this is not really about you. It may be your story, but it's not about you. You have to think about the person that's going to be picking up your story and learning from it and growing from it and even being inspired by it. um, I remind people that whatever we have experienced in our lives, it's not really for us, it's really for someone else. The lessons that we've learned, the challenges that we've overcome, whether you want to write it in fiction or a devotional or whatever form you want to put it in, your story matters to the world and your story makes an impact. So, however you feel,
Hmm.
almost pretend as if you're someone else if you have to do that.
Yes.
So to get outside of yourself, put the fears to the side, silence the negative voices, and just write and just get it out there. And if you're having like blocks, like, oh, I can't get any further, one tip that I'm going to give here is to create a table of contents where you basically break down the story into parts, and then that will kind of help to jumpstart your process.
Yep.
So that's it.
Good.
You know what? One of the things that, and so you tell me, what do you think that is that could help from your perspective when it comes down to book writer's block? What is that you go through, Takima, to help your people?
Well, one thing I definitely agree with what Michelle said. One thing that I'd also tell writers and storytellers is when they feel fear or writer's block, I personally don't believe in writer's block. When I face a situation where I feel like I'm struggling with writing about something, it's either something that is rooted that is making me afraid to tell that part of my story. So, what I encourage them to do is to through that, journal through that process. So, you have your outline and all of those things to help you to write your story, but also journal so you can get your present feelings out so it doesn't keep you from moving forward with what you have to do. And I like to use the example of when I wrote about when I was raped. That was a very hard chapter for me to write. And I wrote it with blurry eyes, crying through it because I knew that there was somebody that needed to hear that story, and I could not stop myself from writing it. And I didn't pause. I wrote through it because I wanted them to feel the essence of what I was saying with the emotion attached to it. So sometimes it's a process of working through the emotions and working through the fear and not allowing it to stop you. But if you have to get it out in a journal, but keep writing. Keep writing.
Mm. You know, you know what? Some people, that is an easy essay disposition to take, but there are some hard parts that have to come out. And you were so good with that to say, through your pain, you just kept on, through the process, you just kept on crying and just getting it out and getting your story out. And so that's a really great way to kind of help people really face their fear, right? You would
Yes.
agree. Yep. So I am so excited about what's to come. And I don't want to introduce that until we got enough of our wonderful and amazing guests here. So we have something that's so incredible that we're going to talk about in just a minute, because you two both are releasing something that's going to change the whole entire game when it comes to book publishing. And so I don't want to give that out right now. We're going to take a break and come back right after these messages. And so, listen, if you all want to know what's coming up for book authors and you want to pivot and you want to change, I'm going to look, I'm not going to even let you see their faces because they're so excited about it that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have them leave, because I want you to know right now that if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you should be tagging people, right? You should be tagging, especially if you know somebody that's a book author. So I'm going to take a break. And while we're taking this break, go ahead and tag some people and share this, because these wonderful and amazing people, in collaboration with everything else that we have going on over at the network, are about to release something that's going to change the game. When I listen, you all know that I don't come live and I don't do anything that is not worth the while of my audience hearing. So at the end of the day, share and tag, and I'll be right back after these messages. And I promise you, and I can guarantee you, that you're going to leave here like, what just happened?
Exposure Network Television, one of the fastest growing media platforms, celebrating the beauty of diversity. Exposure provides inspiring, educational, motivational, and most importantly, family-friendly content. Trusted by parents and loved by children. Wait, the network expands its local-based media distribution, opening up Caribbean islands. Exposure Caribbean TV is proud to offer those living in the Caribbean islands a media platform geared towards changing the narrative of how the world sees the Caribbean islands, providing the Caribbean islands based business, news, travelers, nightlife, filmmakers, and the alike to over 160 million homes in 128 countries. Exposure is exposing the Caribbean islands to the world. Exposure Caribbean Television is now available on the network.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Awesomeness. I am so happy to be right back with you guys. Hi, hey, are you guys excited? Are you excited? Are you excited? Oh my God, are you excited? If you're excited about what's about to take place, I want you to go ahead and put a one in the chat and say good morning. Please say good morning. Say something, because I see that you're there and I want to make sure that we're delivering this message and you can hear us. So this is important. Go ahead and tag some people and share like crazy across your board. But if you're a book author, do not move. I promise you that I got something I want to share with you. And I'm always here to deliver what is newsworthy to my audience, because that's so important for us to help people, right? In a time that a market is so saturated with everybody saying they're a coach at this, or they do this and they do that, right? There's people that are behind the scenes that are experts that are studying those things to make sure that the truth of the nature is brought to an audience to help them pivot and to help them meet the challenges of producing content, right? You see, so many people are producing content and getting caught up in situations where they lose their publishing rights. Or maybe they just don't publish their book in the right sense, so they publish it as a self-published author, which makes them a vanity press. So very difficult for you to be able to get picked up by live or even retail stores. Did you know that? Retail stores require a certain type of press or printing press application or contract in place before they decide to do business with you. And that's the truth of the nature. A lot of people don't tell you that because they just want your money. Did you know that if you use an ISBN number that was given to you and it was not paid for by you through broker, you 9 times out of 10 have just turned over your manuscript and somebody else owns it. The ISBN number is a QSIP number or an identification number or certificate number seen as an identification to a product or manuscript. Once that identification number is paid for, whether by yourself or someone else, whoever owns that script owns that particular, whoever owns the ISBN number is in control of the manuscript and can use it to their pleasure. Mm-hmm. So you might wake up one day and they have sold your manuscript to a movie. So you're like watching a movie and you're like, oh my God, this is my story. How in the world did somebody get my story? Well, if you took an ISBN number and you allowed it to be given to you for free, you gave up the rights to your publishing. I'm just saying, here's where you're going to find out some of that amazing information right here on this particular show. Stay with me, y'all. I got more to come. Hey, ladies, we're back. All right. So you ladies are about to head into a whole full production with your own TV shows. How exciting is that?
Very exciting.
So tell me about these TV shows that are about to come out. I mean, like for this is quite interesting because it's the first of a kind for authors to be featured to talk about their work, right? So tell me what's going on in your heads and what your show will be about. The Meet the Author. What is that going to be like?
Okay, so Meet the Author is intended to have me feature authors on international networks here at Exposure Network TV. I'm looking forward to sitting down with authors from all over. I am open to talking to people from around the world, actually, and getting a chance to feature your story, hear your story behind the story. So we get to know a little bit about you as the author and what inspired you to write your book. So I'm excited to meet with so many authors. I'm looking forward to seeing you and have our auditions and all of that. And I'm also interested in speaking to book professionals as well, book buyers, librarians, and others who fit into that category so that we can also feature you. We know where the books are being read and seen and featured. So even bookstores, hey, we want to see and talk to all of you.
That's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool because people get a chance to like. You don't often hear book or literary agents talking publicly about the industry and just kind of giving out some advice, especially in the diverse area or multicultural aspect of it all. So I'm looking forward to hearing, just hearing from those experts and really helping people to understand the book industry. Because I think a lot of times when people get a hold of marketing components and then they find a niche, which is like a book author or, whatever that might be, or even an anthology. I want to talk more about that too. So I'll be back with that question in just a few because I want to know if anthologies is even worth it. And I think on one of our calls, we had an opportunity to talk to Takima Howze, who explained to us exactly what that means. But Takima, tell me about your show and what's coming. You're a young millennial doing your thing. Tell me what you're about to do with your TV show.
Okay, so the Lit Life is all about telling the story beyond the book. And so I feature authors and storytellers who have powerful, impactful stories that are brave, that are bold, resilient, authentic, vulnerable, victorious, and empowered. And we journey through what it took for them to live out those experiences that are brave, that are bold. Oh, I was like, wait, that's my voice. That are brave, that are vulnerable, victorious, and empowered. And we talk about what that journey was like and what inspired them to write and share their journey, and then where they're willing and wanting to take their story next. What is the next level of them sharing their story. So that's what the lit life is all about. It's all about the journey of the story and where you go beyond the book.
That's so nice. Oh my gosh. So many people are going to be able to learn from you. And it's really great that you being a millennial, that you're going to take the time to really educate, the next generation as well as this generation here, or your peers and associates, how to publish a book and how to actually get that book to the forefront so that consumers would actually see their work as being a value, right? Because there's a value statement with releasing the book, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's get into some heavy conversation. Tell me, is it worth doing an anthology? Is it ever worth doing that? Being a compilation book writer, is that an opportunity that should cost you thousands of dollars? I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are.
I and I'm gonna speak very candidly. I think that it's an opportunity to get you started. It's a launching pad. Is it worth paying $1,000 for? No. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna get my Lisa Lopez on. Let me run you the numbers. Typically, to publish a book, it costs, just to get the book out there, it costs roughly $500 to $1,000. And I say that because you get a book editor, proofreader, formatter, and get your book cover done, and then your ISBN, all of that. All of that is about $1,000, depending upon who you use to get those things together to produce it. Correct? Cool. Say you get 10 authors, and you charge them $500, right? If it takes $1,000 to produce one book that you can get multiple copies for, and you're charging people $500, people, it's only $100 being used, and then the rest of that money goes to the visionary author or the person who is actually producing the book. When that book is produced, you get maybe 10, 15, 20 copies, 25 at most, correct? Cool. Your friends support you. Yeah, I want your book. I want your book. But then they realize other authors are in it, and they're like, well, I just want to read what you wrote. I really don't want to read what they wrote, but they support you anyway. But that's it. When you want more copies of that book, you have to go to the visionary author who now has pocketed most of the money, right? And now you have to go to them to get the inventory, to get the books. And sometimes you don't get it in time. Sometimes you don't get it at all. Now you're at a disadvantage. You did publish works, but it's not really your work because you don't own the ISBN. You don't have access to the inventory. And now you're kind of stuck with books that you can't sell. So you're not making money on the back end either. When you think about Chicken Soup for the Soul, they pay $200 per story because guess what? Your story is valuable to be invested in versus you investing to tell your story. Now, if you do a collaborative effort, let the people know this is what it costs to produce. This is what it costs to promote. This is what it costs to do XYZ. Put all the numbers up front, divvy it up, spread it out, and then make a collaborative effort to sell the books. When you do anthologies like that, it's a racket. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
And that might hurt.
Okay. But it's Sunday. What I can't do nothing but tell the truth.
Yes, baby. I love when people tell the truth on my show, honey, because I am all about disrupting the norm, darling, hunty. Where they do that at? So listen, that is so good. You are dropping jewels and gems right now. There is some more that goes along with this thing because we've actually taken on the chance to partner and create the publishing house that is going to be doing 32 different retail stores. We got a lot of work to do, ladies, so we can get this thing off the ground. But the other thing with you, Michelle, you have so many different expertise, right, in writing and showing people how to advance as a writer. What are some of those things that you teach when you're coaching your clients?
Okay, so when I'm coaching my clients, I actually take them through from a blank page to the possibility of holding a copy of their own book in their hand. So I'm taking you from the very, very beginning all the way through. The thing that I discovered over time after coaching for a couple of years is that it's more a mindset change that has to happen with the author. So a lot of times I'm coaching you through, as we talked about earlier, fear. And I'm also coaching people through being more organized with their time and being disciplined enough to sit down, block out all the distractions, and get some writing done. Right. So, scheduling time, blocking out your calendar, going to a library if libraries are open, COVID, or wherever it is that you need to go to focus and zoom in on what you're working on. So, it's discipline, it's overcoming fear, it's collecting the information and cataloging the information in such a way where it flows well. I even give them writing prompts. They have a list of writing prompts that I've, those who are watching who've worked with me before, you can always chime in the chat and confirm that I do this. I usually give them several writing prompts that they can use to jumpstart the writing process, because sometimes people have a lot of information in their heads, but they just don't know where to start to put the first word down. So the writing prompts just make you say, hey, I can use that to kind of start this paragraph or to start this chapter. And I give them several so they can always switch it around, like maybe chapter 1 can use this one and chapter 2 can you start with this one. Another thing that I tell people to do too is
What's going on?
That's your voice, Tim.
That was not me. Oh my God. That was my vanquillers. I'm so sorry.
This is live TV, and this is what happens. So
I mean, it's like, okay, that's why I don't do lives. I was like, did my vanquillers come out? It must be one of the Muppets. Lord help me, Jesus.
I'm crying.
Okay. So, on a serious note, this is so
wow.
cool. There's so many things that
Yeah.
people can learn from you and from Takima as well, because you guys have really, I mean, I've seen some of her work as well as your own, and you guys really go in on making sure that your clients are served. I love the concierge service that you provide, the effort to make sure that they have an experience with you. How important is that for you, Takima, that a consumer or a writer has an experience with you instead of just selling them on do this, do that? Do you create that? Do you rehumanize the moment for them?
I definitely do, because I know what it feels like to feel like I'm just paying for something. I hate to feel like I just paid for something. I want to feel like I'm valued enough to take me through the process. Don't just lead me there. Please hold my hand a little bit. And specifically in interviewing for the show, for the Lit Life, I love dialogue. I love to have conversations. I love to make people feel like their story is so intriguing to me that I'm inspired by what they have to say. And so when I'm teaching or I'm talking or I'm training people how to utilize their story beyond the book, I want them to understand that I am impacted by their story. So while
Have your outline and all of those things.
you how you can strategize and use your story, I want them to also feel and know that I'm inspired by their story. So I make sure that I give them that. There's a difference between having someone come into a church and telling them, okay, there's a seat over here, have a seat. But there's something else when you say, hello, how are you doing? Good morning. Here's a seat right here. You want to make people feel warm, welcome, and wanted. You don't just want to seat them. You know what I'm saying?
That is such a great point that you make. I want to send a shout out really quick to two of the wonderful, most amazing women who support you guys and are a part of our family. Lola in Canada is watching. Hi, Lola. How are you? We send a shout out to her. And an amazing Michelle D. Clark is driving. And
hey, Michelle! The Michelles, I love y'all. Okay.
So they just wanted to let you know that they're here to support you guys, and they're
Thank
so
you so
excited
much.
about what you all have going on. So I was reading their messages on social media, and so thank you guys for being here and supporting our sisters, because at Exposure, this is one big happy family, even though family sometimes got some things that family just got to go through. But we make it through together, and we appreciate you all for being here. Listen, guys, really quickly, I'm telling you, don't want to miss what's going to happen. So go ahead and take out your cell phones right now. Go over to Exposure Network TV on your app. Go to your app store, type in Exposure Network TV, and find the application and download it, because Meet the Authors in the lit life is gonna be lit.
Period. Okay.
And
Period.
I know I was just talking about releasing my book, right? Like going through hell to get to heaven, which is a story about my mother and how she, literally has been going through hell through dementia, the care that we have to get, the third world care. I don't even know what kind of care you can call it, but it just don't care.
Right. Right.
So it's a book that I wrote about my mother and what we've been going through over the last 4 years now, with me being her primary caregiver and then having to need help. So I wrote a story. And anywho, at the end of the day, let me get off my soapbox. I'm waiting to be on Meet the Author, okay, and Lit Life. So I'm not
Period.
releasing my book until I get an opportunity to sit down with these two Oprahs, okay?
Okay.
Okay, like that's what I'm doing. Oh, my clients are Oprah's, baby. Don't get it twisted. We do what we do because we know. I mean, I love working with experts. You guys are so excited about what you do, right? And a
All
lot
the
of people
way.
aren't excited about what they do. So when you meet people who are truly, truly okay, verifiable and certified, okay, verifiable, you can Google them. Listen, Michelle, you can Google Michelle Cameron, okay? You can not only just Google Michelle Cameron, also Google Takima Howze. You can find them, they're credible resources. If you've been trying to find people who are not expensive, who won't rake you over the coal and provide you with the best service possible in the book industry and helping you get that book to a number one seller, I'm gonna take you right to them. So listen, I recommend that you reach out to them. Go ahead right now, and I'm going to put the correct spelling to their name. We're going to go Michelle Cameron, and we're going to go over to her page, and then we're going to go to Takima. Takima's such a baby, y'all. She's such a baby. She's just a baby. Takima House. I'm going to put that up on the screen so you guys can see their ads and go over and make the connection. Takima, did I spell that right? Because you know
You
how you
sure
like.
did. Thank you.
Oh my God, look at me. I'm trying to get on y'all level. So
No.
listen, Michelle, you're speaking and you're traveling around the country. I know you just came out of one of the most amazing business expos or conferences in Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on?
Okay, so I am part of the traffic sales and profit community. And I started working with Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, who are those who have spearheaded this whole organization. Years ago, I started working with them from Black and Married with Kids. So if you've heard of Black and Married with Kids, you've heard of Lamar and Ronnie. They're the same people that have started traffic sales and profits. So it's a unique organization because what it is, it's people who have businesses at different stages along the way. You could have just started your business. You could have been in business for 30 years. Everybody feels at home there because they have it where it's set up in different tiers. You have the general population. You have Propel, which I'm part of Propel, which is the initial community where you pay, a lower fee and you get access to information that you need to help you to build your business behind the scenes. And then on top of that, they feature Mastermind. Mastermind is where everybody's trying to get to. It's a high ticket membership. And when you get into that membership, you get to rub shoulders with millionaires. people who have built their businesses very credible. There's lawyers, there's interior decorators, there's all different types of businesses are represented there. And they spend a lot of time together to mold and shape and help each other. Um, it was just announced yesterday that they are having their TSP live in here again in Atlanta.
Woo!
In June 23rd to 25th. I believe that I have the right dates. And
exclusive, y'all. Get it.
And their headliner is Magic Johnson.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's
so I would, if I were you, I would try to get into the Traffic Sales and Profit group. They have a public group that anybody can join. You have a business, you can get right in and try to jump on these tickets, because the tickets right now, the lowest price, you want to get that ticket at that price if you can right now, because the price is going to go up. Because remember who's going to be in the room? Magic Johnson. So yeah, so
Magic Johnson got to pay for this commercial.
Right, exactly.
We was going too far. I had to stop it. I was about to throw a commercial break on there and send this man this invoice. Wait a minute, hold on.
Why not?
We're going to be having the authors retreat in Miami in April. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be a lifestyle treat. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Authors from around the country will be coming together with people like Takima, Howze. And this is hosted by the Michelle Cameron that is here today with us. And so authors, if you are ready for the next level up situation, meet us in Miami this April. So if you need the information, go ahead and let me just see if I can get you my assistant information real quick. Let me just type this in here. And what you can do is shoot her an email and she will send you over the application information to go ahead and sign up and register. Now, this is going to be in April, everybody, and it is the first ever authors retreat, lifestyle retreat, not just any old kind of retreat. I'm talking about a lifestyle retreat that's going to change your life and the way that you look at it, and you'll never be alone again. It's creating a community. And so as we create a community of authors, there's a lot more that comes along with the ride. You don't want to miss this. We have several of the most amazing people that will be joining us. Whether you're talking about financial literacy, can I tell you what I'm going to be teaching when you come? I'm going to show you how to create the trust, an irrevocable trust, and put your publishings inside the irrevocable trust so nobody can ever steal your work. You don't want to miss this opportunity. That right there is worth thousands of dollars, because I charge thousands of dollars to do people trust. But I'm coming to Miami to join Cameron and Takima Howze on an adventure to show you exactly how to protect your work. You need to protect your assets and make it a legacy, leaving that for your children. How do I know? For the last 9 years, I've been publishing magazines, books. I represent Michelle Cameron as her publicist. And so, as well as my amazing and incredible executive assistant who is here today with me, who is Takima Howze, who actually writes most of my stuff, right? So I just want you to know that if you're ever reading something and you're like, who wrote that? You might want to say Takima Howze just wrote that. If you want to know where my advice comes from on what I write, you're going to say Michelle Cameron said that. So listen, this has been it. I don't want to keep on, y'all, today. I know Michelle's got to get out of here and catch a flight. So we're going to go ahead and go. Hey, listen, chime in, everybody. Catch us on the next show. And I got some more incredible guests that are coming up. For all of you that are here right now under the sound of my voice, have an amazing and incredible Sunday, because you deserve it. Okay. Holla at your girl. See you soon.